Hey, this is Rick Kasalich, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, I wanted to go through a few easy knee strengthening exercises for lifters. Now, Jenna's going to demonstrate them. I'll kind of go through the details of the exercise, and Jenna's going to start off with the first exercise, and this is knee abductor strengthening. Okay, good. So looking at setting up and starting things, we have so what we've done is we've got like the loop tubing, we have it fixed over on the bench and then with the weight on top. So we have something secure that the tubing is hooked up to. Now Jenna has got the tubing looped up just above her ankle. She's standing. She's going to put her weight onto one leg, and then she's going to bring that leg out to the side and back together and then out to the side. When it comes to bringing that leg out to the side, she's going out to the side about 30 to 45 degrees, and is not overdoing it because we don't want too much movement when it comes to the pelvis. Good. Now, if you're having difficulty when it relates to the balancing side of things, if you're close to a wall, you can put your hand up against the wall, or you can utilize like a stick, like a dowel. And I'll pull one from right here so you can use this. Okay, good. So that's the first one, hip abductor strengthening. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity. For this one, sets are 1, repetitions, I would start off with 5, but then you can progress to 10 on each side. Alternate back and forth. Time, smooth controlled movement with a good contraction at the end position. Looking at the intensity be light to moderate. And what we're working on with this one, we're working on the outer part of the hip. So a lot of times when it relates to knee pain and strengthening the knee, you want to look at strengthening around the knee joint, but also looking at strengthening that hip, because having good, strong hips will help you strengthen your knee joint as well. Okay, moving on to the second exercise. Good, hip extensor strengthening. So looking at the setup of things, we have the tubing looped, as I talked about with the one before, the tubing's looped around the bench. Now Jenna has it looped around her ankle, just above her ankle, above her foot. She's standing position, and then she's going to stand on one leg, and the leg that has the tubing, she's going to bring the leg back to the start, bring the leg back, and back to the start. Now looking at the range of motion that you're doing in the hip, looking at 0 degrees being in the starting position, you're going to bring the leg back, and you're probably going to go about 30 degrees back and then back to the start. And we're really targeting the glutes and the hamstrings, more the glutes than the hamstrings. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets are 1, repetitions, just like the one before. Try to start off with 5, work your way to 10. Time, smooth controlled movement with a good contraction at the end position, focusing on the glutes more than the hamstrings. And the intensity will probably be light. And looking at what we're targeting those glutes secondary to the hamstring. And just like the first exercise we went through, hip abductor strengthening, looking at having good, strong hips, which will help with knee strengthening. Now, moving on to the third one. Okay, so this one is a glute medius strengthening exercise. So looking at the starting position, you're starting nice and upright. You can place your hand on the wall for balance, so we can just focus on doing the exercise right and targeting the right muscle, or like utilizing a dowel or a stick to help you remove balance. And then Jenna's going to stand on one leg, and then she's bringing that leg out to 45. Good. and then back, out to 45, good, and back, good. So looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets would be 1, repetitions once again would be 5, building up to 10 repetitions. Time, smooth controlled movement with a good contraction in the glutes, and the intensity with this one, it would be light to moderate. This one is more challenging because the one before, the hip extension strengthening, we were targeting mainly gluteus maximus. Now with this one, instead of bringing the leg straight out, you're bringing it out to about 45 degrees, and looking at how far you bring it out, you know, the starting position is 0 degrees, and you're probably bringing it out to about 30 degrees with the leg back. And with this one, we're targeting more gluteus medius. Okay, so we got 3 down, moving to the next one. And with that third one, once again, it was another hip strengthening exercise, and having good strong hips will help with strengthening your knees. Okay, now moving on to the next one. This is monster walks with band. So you have the band wrapped just above the knees, and you're going out to the side, following with the other leg, side, following, and then back, side, following, side, following. Good. So looking at how things start, how you're setting things up. So you got the loop tubing around the knee. You have it just above the knee joint. You start off with like nice and tall and standing, and then you kind of get in that athletic position, bending at the hips, bending at the knees. You're going to bring the leg out to the side. Tension's always happening on the band, and then you're going to follow with the other leg, still tension on the band. Good. And then when you bring the leg out to the side, we're kind of working the outer hip concentrically, and when you return that leg, you're working on that other hip eccentrically. So we're kind of targeting the muscle, that outer hip muscle in all 3 contractions. So concentrically, eccentrically, and isometrically. So looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity with those monster walks with band, sets are 1, repetitions would be 5, so 5 one way, 5 the other way. You can progress on to 10. The time, smooth controlled movement with this one, with a good stop at the end position. The intensity will more likely be light. And looking at what we're targeting that outer hip muscle. And you can see with the vast majority of these exercises, when we're looking at strengthening the knee, we're targeting the hips, because strong hips lead to strong knees. Now moving on to the 5th and final exercise. Good. Single leg squat. So now we're really working on a knee strengthening exercise, but even with this single leg squat, we're working a lot of the glute muscle. So looking at the starting position, so Jenna's going to start off in standing, both legs standing nice and upright. She has her hand up against the wall to remove balance, so we can focus on the movement being correct and targeting the right muscles. Then she's going to stand on one leg, and then she's going to bend in the knee and bend in the hip. Good, coming to about 45, back up, and then again, coming down to about 45 and back up. You can see she's bending in the ankle, bringing the knee forward, really working on that hip, getting from that bottom position, pulling her out into that top position. Good. Good. So looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for that one, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 5 on each side, so 5 on one, 5 on the other. Progress on to 10. Time, smooth controlled movement with a good stop at the bottom position. The intensity would be light to moderate, depends on how strong you are around the knees and around the hip. And looking at what we're targeting the muscles around the knee. We're working on balance when it comes to the foot and the knee, and also strengthening that hip, especially when it comes to the posterior chain or glutes and hamstrings. So there you go. Give those 5 exercises a go. They really target your hips, but they will end up helping you have stronger knees and pain-free knees. Now, if you want some of my best tips and tricks when it relates to overcoming knee pain, then what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tips and Tricks That Fight Knee Pain and Tightness. Just click right here, let me know where to send you that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, or smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will be exercisesforinjuries.com/knees. Let me know where to send you that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it in the comment section. And lastly, hit subscribe to get future pain relieving videos.